on Talk Radio 680 WCBM and WCBM.com.
8:38:22 before the hour of 9 o'clock with Sean and Frank, Maryland's wake-up call. Talk Radio 680 WCBM. All right, James O'Keefe is coming next week in conjunction with the Harbor League, I should say. We'll be at the Crowne Plaza, Baltimore. We'll give you more information. And his undercover video sting of ACORN led them to a setback. But ACORN has only faked its death, says our next guest, author of Subversion, Inc., Matthew Vadum, a senior editor at Capital Research Center, a think tank that studies left-wing advocacy groups and those who fund them. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning, Sean and Frank. How are you?
We're doing just fine, and I got to tell you, I thought I knew everything about ACORN until I read your book.
There's so much there.
There is so much there, and it is a treasure trove of well-researched information, but this is beyond a community organizing left-wing group. This is a radical, evil, and subversive organization.
Absolutely. It comes out of the radical new left from the 1960s, and it's no surprise that Bill Ayers of the Weather Underground was so friendly to ACORN and was helping direct grant money when he served on charitable boards with Barack Obama to ACORN.
Now, again, you write in the book that really ACORN was, created to destroy our capitalist system, to impose this socialist nightmare or this European-style socialist state that clearly one of their best friends occupies the White House right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is. President Obama is long been friendly with ACORN. He represented ACORN in court as a lawyer. He trained ACORN activists, lectured for them, and he helped get Carol Moseley Braun, the radical left-wing senator in Illinois, elected in 1992 as head of ACORN's Project Vote manufacturing subsidiary.
Now, you write in the book that there's hardly a Democrat in the country that doesn't have some kind of ties or some kind of relationship with ACORN, specifically here in Maryland. Are there any Democrats here that are tied to this?
Lots of them do, but you remember in the latter part of the book, ACORN wasn't very happy when Congresswoman Donna Edwards,
right,
who was a very effective community organizer, she was hailed as the next big thing by ACORN, and they were heavily involved in her election campaign. And then in 2008 or so, when she tried to distance herself from ACORN, for reasons I explain in the book, the ACORN put the heat on her, and two ACORN thugs confronted her at a party. And she was so shaken by the incident that she complained to friends that she was thinking of getting a restraining order against these two individuals. So ACORN, it's like the mafia. You never really leave it.
Well, and obviously James O'Keefe and Hannah Giles played a role in bringing a lot of their activities to public light. And, of course, there was an attempt to defund ACORN. And I think I've read in your book that Howard Phillips was the only one that in the Nixon administration, the only federal official to actually ever defund ACORN. But so again, we all thought that they maybe not have been dead, but they were on life support. But we find out otherwise in your book.
They're absolutely not dead, and what they've done is they've taken the state level chapters and they've just given them new names and incorporated them as legally separate organizations. So in Maryland, right now, they're sharing an office in D.C., and they're united under a group called Communities United. And ACORN Housing still operates in Maryland, but now it calls itself Affordable Housing Centers of America. And in other states, they've just taken other names, too, like Alliance of Californians for Community Empowerment is California ACORN. New York is New York Communities for Change. And I should also add that Project Vote, the part of ACORN that Obama worked for in 1992, is still operating unmolested out of ACORN's Washington, D.C. headquarters down by the Marine Barracks in Southeast on the Hill. So, this is the division that causes all the trouble at election time. And nobody seems to care. But I hope the book will make people care.
Matthew, this is Frank Luber. You know, I obviously grew up in a period of time where we didn't have this radical movement in this country. It seems as though the 60s kind of was the incubator for it all. And I just wonder, you know, how it was or how it is that radicals such as Bill Ayers, even Barack Obama for that matter, could rise to such prominent positions and have such an impact here in this country.
Well, because the Democratic Party has moved so far to the left that it's not recognizable. It wouldn't be recognizable if to Harry Truman and people like that if he were still around, and Scoop Jackson. They're just an anti-American party. They're anti-defense. They want to, and when I say anti-American, I don't use that. I use that term carefully. I mean that they want to destroy America's basic institutions.
Well,
they don't believe in the founding. They don't believe in the Constitution and limited government.
Well, do you see any time in the future where what I might call mainstream Democrats, if there are any out there today, may eventually be in a position to eradicate the takeover of their party by these radicals?
They'd probably have to be annihilated in an election for that to happen. And what happened in the 2010 election is the more moderate Democrats are the ones who got wiped out because they were in swing districts. So the Democrats in the House of Representatives right now, they're a much greater percentage of the overall the Democratic conference in the House. So, the far left has even more power within the party now.
It seems to me that the radicals I'm referring to and the radical movement in general basically are preying upon the underclass, the minorities here in this country. And I guess the next group of minorities will be the Hispanics. Am I on target there? Is that how they're trying to form their base?
Right. They view minorities as playthings for as cannon fodder to be used in the effort to transform America into a socialist country, so that we'll end up being like France or worse. So they don't mind African Americans suffering and being on welfare in the inner city if it helps to advance the cause and keeps them dependent on government and keeps them angry and it keeps them in place as foot soldiers for the cause. So.
Let's assume we're talking about Matthew Vadum. The book is Subversion Incorporated, how Obama's ACORN red shirts are still terrorizing and ripping off American taxpayers. And let's assume for a second that all taxpayer dollars are cut off from ACORN. They still have a number of entities they can turn to for funding, and you identify some of those in your book, including Hugo Chavez, Bernie Madoff. Before he was taken down, a lot of his contributions ended up in ACORN coffers. What about George Soros?
George Soros is a part of that, definitely, and he'd been funding ACORN for some time. Soros cut off, though, ACORN after the 2008 embezzlement scandal. The ACORN founder's brother stole $1 million and was covered up for 8 years. So Soros, as radical as he may be, is quite businesslike. So when an investment isn't going well, he knows, has the good sense to cut his losses and stop funding it. So he cut off ACORN some time ago, but he did fund them initially. That's right.
Now, we also seen that they've got a number of celebrities backing ACORN, just as we've seen Danny Glover and others who seem to never meet a Marxist they didn't like.
You're right. Bruce Springsteen, no big surprise there, is a big lefty, and he gave all sorts of money to ACORN's Project Vote division. Roseanne Barr gave money to ACORN and is a stout defender of them. And same with Barbara Streisand. She gave money to ACORN. And then there are also other celebrities like Cynthia Nixon, who played Miranda on Sex and the City, is an outspoken supporter of ACORN's political party in New York State, the Working Families Party of New York. And so is Matt Damon. Both of them, the actor, they both appeared on commercials for the Working Families Party of New York in the last election cycle.
What's in it for these celebrities? I mean, who back these radicals and radical causes?
Well, they're just a lot of celebrities didn't go to college. They don't know much about politics.
No, they don't.
They probably think they're doing the right thing, that they're helping truth and justice, and they don't know any better.
They know nothing, certainly, about the economy or free markets. That's to say the least.
Nor does President Obama.
Exactly. So that brings up a point. In your research, and this again, the most impeccably researched book I've run across on ACORN, and I think it's definitive, must reading for every American. How is the Obama administration and its current policies? How do you see them helping to ACORN try to achieve its ultimate goal?
Well, the goal is the collapse of the system and of the American system of capitalism and democracy, as we understand the term. And President Obama is going out of his way to muck things up and to destabilize American society.
That just seems to me that ACORN, of course, they're into these entitlement programs. They try to get as many people as they can on welfare. We're seeing 39% increase in food stamp recipients.
1 out of 7 Americans.
Then we have the squatting issue, where ACORN now is just openly taking crowbars on padlocked foreclosed homes and breaking in and squatting and taking up residence in these homes.
They believe in the use of physical force, violence, and intimidation in order to get their way, and that this is the way they do things. So they will not. They're not a part of the legitimate political process. They are outside of it because of the things that they do that involve using physical force, initiation of physical force. They don't believe in the system, so they declare war on it, and that's what these people do every day. They have rent-a-mobs. They'll actually take money to go and protest one company. They'll take money from one company to go protest another. They will go to a bank CEO's home and surround it with a busload of people and bang on the doors and frighten the children and dig up the lawn and dump garbage in the driveway, all to intimidate corporate America into following their agenda and giving the money as so-called donations.
And we thought
More
Jesse
like
Jackson.
protection money.
We thought Jesse Jackson was bad.
No, Jesse Jackson is slick.
But Jesse's a capitalist.
Well, I guess at heart.
At heart, yes, when it benefits himself. All right, Matthew Vadum, the book is Subversion, Inc. It is a must-read. If you want the definitive word on ACORN, this is it. Matthew, thanks for joining us here this morning.
Thank you, Sean and Frank.
All right, it's our pleasure. 8:52, traffic and weather first. Here once again is Chuck Whitaker.